Hello, beautiful friends. I was just playing with the different angles of the camera, and look at the light. I just wanted to share the light and this view going this way. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I've just been exploring a woodland near me, and I just always love to follow where the water is, the streams. It's so magical down here. It's so magical. I really feel the elemental energy here. I really feel the fae and the gnomes and the tree spirits. It's, oh my God, did you see the deer? Can you see the deer looking at us? Oh wow, I don't know if you saw that, if you got that on the camera then. Oh man. I was so aware, like, you can see their hoof prints everywhere around here. This is obviously their drinking area, their watering area. So part of me feels a bit cheeky being in here, and I think I'm sat in like a bit of a badger area as well. I was looking at the poo on the floor and thinking that would be a really fun thing to do, is to start identifying the poo. But back to elemental energy. Oh my God, that was so. I so hope that was on camera. Okay, so this video is going to be about how I started opening up to the elemental realms. I have done videos like this before, but a woman called Natalie on my YouTube channel asked if I would speak about it. So I thought it would be a really nice thing to do. And yeah, while I was on my little journey to find this spot, yeah, I just kept looking for like different areas that felt safe to sit in. There are big ants in this forest, and they do like to nip you. So I was guided. I just kept looking around. Where can I sit where I don't have to sit on the floor? And then a big dragonfly was just circling above this area, and I'm just sat on this lovely old. It looks like oak, an oak tree that's fallen, and it's a beautiful mossy branch. I like to say where there's moss there's magic. So like, where am I going to begin? It's such a funny one now because it's like a really integrated part of my life, and I sort of forget the journey that I've been on, but it's such an important one. So I think the best place for me to start is going back to 2009, when I went on a course to learn energy healing, channeling, and soul reading. And what that course did for me was to like open up all my intuitive senses. So my abilities to read energy, to tap into the field, the energetic field, and read information. So that really for me started opening up. Especially on that course, there was quite a lot of focus on angelic energy. And I mean, I think when I was about 16, my mum first took me to Glastonbury, Avalon, and I've had all of this stuff kind of in my life for a very long time. I'm now 45, so what's that, 30, it's about 30 years ago, when I had my first kind of angel experience. I definitely had a lot of experiences when I was younger as well. I have a UFO experience, and I have just some memories of connecting with the trees and just being in nature. I was really lucky to grow up in a village and have a beautiful garden and just be out in nature a lot. So I feel like, yeah, my love of nature and fairies has always been there in my life. Like, I've always been fascinated by the flower fairy books. My mum had them. I love her story. She has this story of like, I think her very first paycheck she bought the collection with. And I know my mum is actually also very connected in with these realms. So I feel like it's just always been around me. But yeah, back to 2009, and I start doing this work, and then I start working with people, reading their energy systems, doing clearings, and just really working and honing that ability to read other realms. And I can't really remember without looking back through like all my diaries and stuff exactly what happened, but I think I just started doing like channeled writing, and I would just sit and write. And then what I called the elemental realm started talking to me, and I would start writing. This like automatic writing would just start. I don't know if it's automatic writing, but I would just start having these messages coming through. And I was starting to walk in nature a lot more, like going on really long walks. Like that's how I spent my time, and I would be out on my own, and I'd walk for hours, hours and hours. A bit like today. I feel like I haven't done this for a little while. Been going to the same spot, and today I got a really strong message to go and explore other areas. So yeah, so I started writing, and the elemental realm for me at that time was like the consciousness behind matter in a way. So it was almost like the field was talking to me. It looked like, in my mind's eye, I was seeing it like tiny little sparks of light. They might even be called quarks, or it's tiny. It's such a like, yeah, it's such a, like this consciousness is so vast, and yet it's getting down to the micro, like really, really minute energy, the way energy works and the way matter is formed around light structures. This is all the stuff that I started to see. I started working with sacred geometry as well. I think that was a huge part of my introduction to these elemental realms, because the light structure is where it begins in a way. Matter forms around light structure, around sacred geometry, and that's the way I often see things, or sense, feel, see. Like when I say see, I don't actually get visuals, and even in my mind's eye, it's not necessarily visual, but I see it. Unless you have that experience, I think it's quite a hard one to explain. So I'm doing sacred geometry, I'm reading energy, and I am walking a lot in nature, I think, and I'm beginning to trust my intuition. Not beginning, I am at that point really trusting my intuition, because, you know, this stuff does happen within, like the place of perception is inside of us. It's not on the outside necessarily, or very much usually not. I mean, now I'm beginning to see that nature is interacting with me. The physical realms are beginning to interact with me in a different way. What was I saying? So yeah, trusting my senses, trusting that what I'm picking up is real. And I think working with people was a really beautiful introduction into that, because they could affirm back to me, or my teacher would be like, oh, I'm seeing what you're seeing as well. So that was a really powerful gateway into me perceiving these realms and having them talk to me. Oh, there was something else I wanted to say there. Yeah, it's gone. But I began to realize that the imagination is the gateway into the elemental realm. So I think that's another really important aspect of this, is that when we start trusting, I mean, there's daydreams, And then there is imagination, which is actually our perception. We're actually seeing something that's there, but we've been taught that that what we're seeing isn't real, that the fairies don't exist, that the elemental realm doesn't exist, angels aren't real. You know, if you can't see, taste, touch, smell it, it's not real. And that's really drummed into us from a very young age. And yeah, a lot of us are dealing with so much history and trauma around this subject. You know, if you were a wise woman, a medicine woman or man, you could well have been murdered for even talking about these things. Like, this would not have been allowed. Me just sitting here talking about this stuff, it wouldn't have been safe. So I think also on that course that I did, we were working on each other a lot. So this stuff was coming up and being cleared, and I found there are lots more layers to it that I've had to go through over the years. Lots of layers around also being afraid of the elemental realms, that they would run away, they would take us and we wouldn't be able to come back again. I had to go through that one, and also opening up to experience these loving realms. I think for me these are very loving realms, and creation is very loving. The energy of creation is love, and we've put a kind of romantic energy on love, but it really is actually the core essence of everything. But that's a whole other subject. So going back to my journey with opening up to it and how I started perceiving them. And so so I started doing this writing, and I was starting to be shown about the light structures behind everything, and how then there was these consciousnesses, these beings that actually helped to maintain matter. And I would get these teachings come through, and I'd be writing them down and contemplating them and thinking about them, and then in the most random places I would find books on fairies and elementals. I know I have shared these stories several times, but for anyone new, I would be like, I have to go into that charity shop. I would just know to go into a shop, and I would go and look in the sort of esoteric, self-help, new age sections, and there would be books on fairies, or walking down the street and there would be a bookstall on the side of the road, and there would be a book on elementals, and I mean really well written books as well. Like, you know, you can't find these books in bookshops. I've not been able to find really good books on these subjects. I haven't looked for years now, haven't read any new material for a long time, but so I'd get these books and I'd start reading them, and I'd be like, oh my God, that is just what I've been taught. I've just been taught that. I've just been learning all about that, and I know that they were doing that. It was like, you know, they were putting these books in my path to show me that what was coming through to me was real, to really support my trusting in myself and to grow my confidence around it. And that's a big journey. That's a really big journey I've been on. I'm just aware that I have been walking for a while, hoping that there's been a lot of shooting I can hear today, and it's stopped now. That's so good. I was really hoping that it would have stopped by the time I recorded this, and it has. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. So these books started appearing, and then so I would start reading about the elementals, and then I think it started to open my consciousness to other beings as well, and then I started having experiences. I think back in 2017, there's a January 2017, I had this gnome come to me in my house in town, and then I made a couple of videos. You can go and check those out. Oh my gosh, I feel shy to say that because I look terrible in them. I'd been really ill. I have been really ill. I had no makeup on. I mean, I'm somebody I don't usually leave the house without makeup. Um, well, back then anyway. And it was like, make this video now. And I never thought I would post it. And so I made this video sharing what this gnome was saying to me. It's not exact. I don't know if you would call that channeling, but it was like talking to me, and then I would share the message. That's often how the way I like to share what comes through. And then I remember going to bed that night, and it was like, right, now you have to post this video. I was just like, oh my God, no. But I knew I had to. So so I did that. So it's just been kind of like following my pathway. We're each going to have such a different pathway into what our journey is with the elementals. But I think there are some like really key things. Oh, and also I'm hearing as well, like to really be in the heart center. So what they began to teach me was that I needed to be in my heart center and to be like inquisitive and curious and childlike. And it was all these kinds of energies that were coming through to me at the time that I was learning about, that these are the frequencies that they play in. And, you know, we've been taught that those energies are like a childish, you know, in a negative way, where actually there's so much wisdom available to us when we're in a much more open, playful, joyful state. It opens up so much to us. Yeah, so I mean, I did think I was going to make a video sharing some of the experiences I've had, but I don't feel that is for this moment. Is there anything else I want to share about opening to these realms? I think those really are the key things, and it's learning to feel and sense with your body. This is great actually, because I'm just about to put out a course, and this is a coincidence. Well, it's not a coincidence, but like I wanted to share some videos this week, kind of in a way of doing advertising for my course, and just because I love doing this, and because I learn so much when I come and do these videos as well. You know, all of this I'm doing for myself as much as for anybody watching, because I'm curious about how creation works, and I'm curious about the elementals, and I'm always learning. I haven't finished at all. Excuse me, I've got such an itchy nose. Yeah. So so getting this question about how did I open to these realms just feels like such a perfect time to be sharing about this, as I'm about to. The course is beginning on Sunday, so it's just like 4 or 5 days away. And if you're watching this at any other time as well, like check out if there are any courses that I'm running, because there's a big dragonfly just flew out. Oh my gosh! I hope it flies behind. It's really big. Oh my God, for me, the dragonflies are, it's kind of in front of me. Oh my God, we've had my power animals. We had like the deer show up in this video, and the dragonflies flying around again. Yeah, so the dragonfly for me is a real element, such a sign of the elemental beings. I'm just smiling because it's flying around. Maybe I'm just going to get this angle for a little bit, that it might do a flyby. Okay, my phone was full then, and so it cut out, so I just deleted some things, and I'm hoping it's enough just to finish the video off. So I know what I was saying, because I remember the dragonfly was flying around, and which I felt was just a really lovely affirmation that, you know, I'm just going to be putting out more courses and support for people to connect with the elemental realms, and to deepen their connection with nature, loving nature. And And what else? And one-to-one sessions as well that I'm doing. And those are more kind of personal, transformational, finding your core essence, finding the source within you, you know, connecting to your own inner nature. And maybe I'll do some videos about that because I'm really passionate about that work as well. And because I remember Gaia saying to me, and this was part of it when I opened up to these rounds in the early days when I was on those courses, and I would hear Gaia saying to me, bring my children home. And I knew what that was, and I knew it was about bringing people home to their divinity, but I hadn't fully found that place within myself. And I wouldn't say that I've completely found that yet, or have I? In a way I have. Like, I know what that means now, but I know that journey deepens now, and you know that there's a lot more to discover about myself and about the source of my being, and I just love that work, you know. And I knew for ages, like, that I couldn't really put my work out in the world until I'd reached something inside of myself. And like, I think it's the last year and a half for me, I had to go so deep, and my whole life fell apart. And in the building of it, like, I had to find my safety inside. I had to find my safety in me. And for me, like, the elemental realm is a really big part of that. Like, they've taught me so much. It's such an incredible journey to go on. It has been for me, and I'm not saying it's everybody's pathway at all. Just seeing these little ferns here dancing in the wind, I just felt like their energy wanted to come in, like they're little waving and saying hello. Oh my god, and I looked at the beginning of this video and you can see the deer. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy about that. So I think that feels complete for today, and yeah, go and check out my website if you want to deepen your own experiences of these realms and of nature and of life itself and yourself. And maybe I can support you in some way. Maybe I have by now some meditations and some more courses, and well, I don't know what. It's so exciting. It feels so good. Anyway, there's big things flying around. I'm going to send you all my love, and yeah, if there are any more questions, I love to answer questions. Send me your questions. It gives me stuff like, yeah, then I know what to talk about or what you want to hear about. And yeah, I'm looking forward to bringing some more messages from the elemental realms. They're really starting to come through again now. And there's a big piece coming through about co-creating with them at the moment, which is what I hope the courses are going to be supporting. Now's the time. Now is always the time, isn't it? All right. Sending so much love to you all, and thank you for watching, and thank you for being here, and thank you for being interested in this subject. It makes me so happy.